Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jeremy, founder of QuickMail.io.
Hey, and this is Jack from emailsthatsell.com.
Today's CTA swap file, episode 3.
That's right. We are on part 3 of our review. Call it a teardown, if you will. We're going over a PDF. It's a CTA swipe file that you can grab for free over at quickmail.io/goodies. And Jeremy and I have been going through this document, and we're basically tearing down a bunch of call to actions that you can use right now in your cold email campaigns. We're going over when to use these CTAs, who it might be best for, how high of a commitment is it asking, and some more stuff along the way. Let's jump right back in. Now we're talking about calls to actions that include a gift or offer some help or something in exchange for a reply. Before we go in, Jeremy, any background on when someone would want to offer their prospects a gift? And keep in mind, I'm pretty sure you were the one who introduced this concept as, I think you called it trial as a gift, and it was a bit profound and something that the listeners should hear about.
Yeah, that's right. I think it came back like more than a year ago or 2 years ago when I saw someone doing really well on QuickMail. And digging a little bit deeper, I realized that he was offering his software for free.
Yeah.
And that was very valuable in itself. And he just contacted people and said, I tell you what, just give me X and Y and I'll create a report for you. And obviously that was very interesting to those people.
Or in QuickMail terms, it'd be the equivalent of saying like, hey, since you guys are doing cold email, why don't I let you try out QuickMail for 100 prospects? You can use it and just tell me who you're going after maybe.
And I'll find you the prospect.
Yeah, even better.
So something like that, very low risk for them and super valuable.
And this is the thing. It's effective because this is probably the most value that you can give a prospect that we've covered so far. This is how you might be able to shock somebody out of their normal email checking process into, wow, I have to put on the brakes for a moment and get back to this person because they just said they'd help me do X, Y, Z. That's kind of a big deal. And very few people are willing to give their prospects gifts or value or help like this.
An example would be if I'm a t-shirt company, I'll say like, hey, give me your address, your physical address, and I'll send you 3 samples for free. Something like that. So it's a very small ask for something perceived of more value. And honestly, guys and girls, if you actually offer your software for free and no one wants it, then chances that you're probably tackling the wrong market with the wrong product.
Red light should be flashing in your headquarters with an alarm going off. That's a very scary scenario here, especially if you've built the damn thing. But let's dive in, look at some concrete examples of exchanging gifts or offers for this reply.
So last week we talked about sharing content. There is some overlap, not a huge, but there is a bit of overlap. So you could, for example, also say, do I have your permission to send you and then X, your offer or your gift here.
The big difference between this topic of exchanging value and the previous one of sharing content, I see is something, for the most part, not tailored to the particular prospect. It's an article, it's a blog post, it's something that they would want to see, but it's not necessarily packed with value. This I see more as like, if you download or open what I'm about to share with you, it's going to mean you're going to save $100 on trying to find that right freelancer for your product. It's going to do something for you. It's going to put money in your pocket. It's going to bring you customers. It's a trial. It's like you're at the grocery store and they say, hey, here's a slice of pizza, like try it. It's free. If you like it, you know where to come back to for more pizza, so to speak. The content is more just like maybe a YouTube video or something that's just might make their day, but this is a step further.
Totally agree. The only point I wanted to make at this stage is that a lot of the sentences and structure could be reused for just a different purpose. So that means we're going to just skip over that sort of section because we already discussed it in the previous one. So let me add a little bit more spice to those CTA, specifically for a gift or an offer. It goes like this. Can I share a presentation that could help you improve your mobile conversion rate this year? ?
Alone, this call to action sounds like it's over-promising. How on earth could a presentation help somebody improve their mobile conversion rates when they're already probably trying very hard with very smart people to do just that? But if in the beginning of this email, you talk about how you were a keynote speaker at some major conference that is focused just around mobile conversion, and it actually did help a number of attendees lift their conversion rates, okay, now you've got my attention. So you have to back up whatever it is you're promising here, or it's not going to land. They may not believe you. It's too good to be true. And this is a big problem with this section here. It's too good to be true. I'm not buying it. How could they possibly do that? So you need to debunk the too good to be true thing that's in the back of our minds when we read an email like this.
I could actually see that working if you're a consultant that worked with their competitor, last month.
There you go.
Hey, in the last 2 months, I worked with your competitor. Can I share with you a presentation?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Hell yeah, send it to me.
You bring up a good point. So how do you sort of get people to understand it's not too good to be true? You do some name dropping, you put in some stats, some mini case studies, maybe even a testimonial could be all you need. People just need to know that you're an authority if you're about to share something that's going to help them do something that's quite challenging, yet valuable.
All right, so we talk a little bit about this, so we're probably going to be fast on this one. As part of our introduction, we're offering a free trial, giving you unlimited access to, insert whatever. Would you like to start a trial to our platform this week, ?
I bet this would probably work if you've nailed your audience and this and that. I would be curious to see if they stick around and turn into paying customers. That just means you need to have a market that's able to pay for it. You need a service that's incredible, but assuming you got that in place, I like it.
So here's how I would approach that. Instead of asking them to start their trial this week, I will spin it a little bit and will actually ask them to log in to just see the results of that. So for example, in QuickMail, it could be like, can I set up for you like a standard campaign where everything is working, or can I migrate your data? And once this is done, then I will send them the login so they can log in and then start interacting with it. But like Jack said, there's a high chance of doing that for nothing. So do qualify your prospect first and make sure that this is really something they're going to use.
I love that because it goes a step further than just sending them a link to the sign-up page if they say yes. That sounds like something you could use a Facebook ad for, right? Like, hey, like it's promotion, go here to get started. That would work. But in cold email, we want to know there's another person on the end doing something. And yeah, I could see that certainly helping the conversion rate, or the reply rate, I should say, on this CTA.
All right, next one. Would you be interested in seeing a free study on how your insert business stacks up compared to your 3 top competitors? That's all, but I would say one step further and say, if so, send me 3 of your best competitors and I'll be happily creating that study for you.
Even better. So notice Jeremy just took it up a notch because he made it clear that there's this other person on the other end of the email willing to work just for this reply. It's sort of like instant gratification here. They reply with their top 3 competitors, and in return, they're going to get hooked up with a free study. And in return, you have this conversation started, hopefully, with a very potentially valuable prospect. And also, you've got some market research now. They've given you their top 3 competitors. Maybe that's how you list build. They've told you who they are in the same pool with, so you can go after them next. Win-win.
Yeah, I love that. And this is a reciprocity. This is an influence factor I really like.
And what's cool, we're using reciprocity for this show right now. So we put together this free PDF. It's at quickmail.io/goodies. And in return, we just ask that you throw us a review on iTunes or Stitcher.
5-star review.
Yeah, hook us up. I mean, if you like the show, you feel like you want to leave us a review now, don't you? Because we've put this sort of free thing for you and you like it. It helps. So these CTAs use reciprocity, and we're using it to get you to leave a review on iTunes. Everybody wins. It feels good. You know how it works.
Would you mind if I tried to sell your product to new clients? ?
So here's where you would use this. If you're reaching out to artists, right? And maybe you want to, become an art dealer. You could reach out to artists and say, hey, Jeremy, would you mind if I try to sell your art to some new clients? Like, you're willing to do the legwork for them. Sure, there's a commission involved, I imagine, but an easy to say yes to call to action. And also packed with some value, you're offering something pretty remarkable to these prospects.
All right, final one on this section. I'm writing to you to see if you might be interested in participating in a video interview for this leadership solution, for example, question mark.
So obviously you would modify this call to action so it fits whatever it is you're offering. But this approach is essentially reaching out to experts. So it's a little bit the other way around of saying, hey, can I send you this presentation that'll help you boost your mobile conversion rates? Instead, it's you're the experts, and I would love to interview you during this leadership series that I'm doing. And the idea, I'm assuming, is you, A, grow your network with experts in a given field, and B, you've generated conversations with maybe people that you would like to someday pitch a service to, pitch a product to, and it's kind of an interesting way to get your foot in the door here. You know, just thinking back, like there's people, Jeremy, who have interviewed you on their podcasts, and I imagine you have some sort of a relationship with them. Now they can approach you easier. You can maybe get your attention now that they've interviewed you before.
All right, we're moving to the final section, following up. What is it about this time, Jack?
Yeah, so following up is let's call it a wider net category where you're not exactly sure how you want to start this cold email, but it is a follow-up. You're not getting responses from this particular person, so it's sort of a grab bag for whenever you're writing almost a well thought out bump email, even though we're not going to recommend you just do a boring like, hey, did you see this? But this is for stock follow-up call to actions.
Hey, did you see my email?
Yeah. Great.
Did you see my email? All right. First one. Should I check back in a few months? Question mark.
I love it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, this is perfect because like we mentioned in the episode with Cadence, timing is everything. And you might be dead wrong. But instead of just Xing this prospect off your list, you're just asking them if you can check back in a few months. Maybe just timing's not right now. And chances are timing isn't right now. And that if they give you permission to reach back out, you can get something started then.
Yeah, I personally really like that one as well. Again, it's respectful of other people's agenda and not really like that. And also acknowledge the fact that sometimes priority shifts and you can get those people warmed up for your next campaign. And it also allows you to know that this is really a lead that would be interested in the future. So you can actually keep this lead way longer. And if people don't reply to this one, it's likely to either like not being aligned at all with what they want or they even foresee wanting in the future. And that way you can ignore easier those leads.
Last thing, and we'll move on. If you read between the lines, notice how this email, this call to action acknowledges that just because they're not getting back to you, doesn't mean that they're a no forever, right? So one of my sales coaches used to say, is this a no for now or is this a no forever? Meaning don't give up on your prospects, even if you get static or crickets back from them, could just be a timing issue. And sending this call to action will let you know if you're ready to X them off or if you should follow back up later.
Interesting spin on this one. Actually, it's not a CTA. It's more like just letting you know what's going to happen next. It goes like this. In any event, I will add you to our newsletter to give you tips regarding blah, blah, blah. Brackets, if you don't want to, don't hesitate to tell me. Brackets.
So I'm imagining here that this CTA comes after a more direct classic call to action. So something like, do you have any interest in hearing more about this? In any event, I'll add you to our newsletter. Kind of a bold statement here. Just really double check that this person should care greatly about your newsletter. And second, that your newsletter is worth reading. If not, you're just spamming people and that's not cool. So careful, but it may work.
Yeah, and there is more to that as well. Do you really want on your newsletter people who are not responsive?
Yeah.
All right, next one. This time I'm doing one where it's kind of close to get a call, but it's not really. So it says, would you have time early next week to catch up? What do you make of this?
Great call to action for somebody you already know. Maybe this is a client, maybe even better, you're in the same city for a week and you're just looking to get some things on the calendar while you're there. So very conversational, quite a high level of commitment involved, but if you know the person already, go for it.
The next one goes like this. Sorry, did I do something wrong or are you just super busy? ?
Tricky. If you're using humor in this email, it may come off right. A little playful, just really trying all angles to get a reply from this prospect. Maybe this is appropriate if you have a quote unquote funny, let's say follow-up number 8 or something like that. And all other cases, risky.
Yeah, I personally don't like that. It's kind of presumptuous, thinking you did something wrong. It's like, dude, no, I'm just freaking busy. So, it's like forcing.
Yeah.
Simply reply when you get a moment to let me know, ?
Kind of on the weaker end, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of muddy.
In order for this to work, it has to follow a more direct call to action. So it's like, is this on your radar? ? Simply reply when you get a moment to let me know. So it just adds a little bit more conversational tone, but it's got to be following a direct call to action.
Yeah, P.S. Here is the credit card information that I need to get.
Exactly. Yeah. Here's where you can wire me money.
Moving on. Is or, and then you insert your company name, something you may be interested in, just at a later date? ? If so, when works well to follow up? ?
So I would try this, maybe not the final breakup email in a campaign, but if you've tried everything up until this point and you probably are getting the feeling that it's a timing issue, this could be a really nice CTA to throw at your prospects to just find out, again, if it's a timing issue and let them tell you how to proceed, what the next steps are.
All right. So I think we're done with this section. There is still a bonus section that I want to bring in.
Yeah.
I want to put it in because I actually did receive it. I didn't reply to it, but I want to get Jack's... Jax is smiling because he knows which one it's coming. But it goes like this. It's a Nigerian prince style. And it goes like this.
I'm intrigued already.
To what name/address do you want the fundraising check sent? ?
Yeah. All right, so let me get this straight. So I'm to give you a name and address to receive money.
Yeah, sounds great, right?
Yeah, it does sound great. Red flags going up a little bit. Too good to be true needs to be addressed. But what's really going on here? Is this like classic scam, spam approach? And here's the interesting question. Is there a way that is humanly possible to use something like this in an honest B2B cold email campaign?
Ooh, that's a great one. Could be if you're reaching out charities and you want to give back 10% of your revenues to some charities and you have a few ones, but honestly, that comes later in the discussion anyway.
I've actually have an answer. I've put together a campaign. Do I want to share all of it? Let's just say this. I put together a campaign that was location dependent. So it basically said something along the lines of, hey, we're going to be in your neighborhood next Thursday. I'm going to put together a free thing. Send me your corporate address and I'll make sure it gets shipped over to you in time. Where do you want it sent? And you know what, Jeremy? It got a bunch of replies that said like, wow, thank you so much. Yes, please. Here's our address. We're going to be waiting for XYZ at this time. And the cool thing was it was kind of an obvious trial. And if they loved it, they knew exactly where to sign up for more. But this is the Nigerian print style in action.
There you go. You heard it from the king of Nigeria in person.
Right. Yeah. Jeez.
What's interesting about your campaign is that this is a small ask to enter corporate address, right? In exchange of something that you perceive of value. At the same time, this is an interesting thing because it does work. Honestly, if you've done a little bit of your work, it's not really hard to find, a corporate address.
True.
So
Very
that's
true.
interesting. What I will go probably is I will actually mention that it's not always easy to figure out the person responsible at that company to give it to. So I will just mention, I got your address, but just to make sure I don't get the wrong one.
Right.
Or I send it to the right person.
Yeah.
Could you actually just give me the full address to make sure it arrives or something like that?
Let's take a step back to our t-shirt example, right? We want to send you a couple like shirts to try on of your company logo. You could basically say like, hey, I'm going to send over 3 QuickMail shirts, Jeremy. What size should I put the shirts in?
Yeah, or even like, I'm going to offer it to 3 of your employees. Tell me the names or who should have it.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the point here is this is offering something pretty intriguing, compelling, valuable. In order to simply start this conversation, it's imagine you're at this farmer's market and you want everyone to try your honey because it's the best honey in the world. And you know, once half the people try it, they're going to buy something. If you got something that good, use this Nigerian print style CTA. It's not as spammy as it looks, although it looks very spammy.
I would add a testimonial as well, or small case study. Like everyone who got a sample get 3 tons of honey per year. I don't know.
Yeah, or even something like, hey, the company across the street from you just tried our honey and they said, wow, it was the best they ever tried. And
if you don't feel like going out there and asking them, I'm happy to send you a free trial or a free sample.
There you go. The point is you're going out of your way to do something incredible for your prospects to get this cold email conversation started. If you're in the right market, it makes sense to invest a little bit of time up front to get these people to A, try your product, and B, engage with you so that it could lead to a sales conversation in the future.
Well, there you go. This concludes part 3. Next week, we are going to resume with different types of episodes.
Yeah, that's right. Enjoy. And remember, you can download this CTA cheat sheet at quickmail.io/goodies. GOODIES.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Jeremy. All right, that concludes our 3-part series on the CTA swipe file. By now, you've got a long list of calls to actions that you can copy and paste into your cold emails to help you get the replies that you're looking for. Stick around and join us for the next episode. We're going to be covering a different topic from the world of cold email. Hey, cold emailer.
Yeah, you.
If you got some value from this episode, give us a high five by sharing a 2-sentence review on iTunes.
Or Stitcher or TuneIn. That works too.
It's a quick way to help other growth-minded folks like us find this podcast.
So they can send awesome emails.
And make everyone's inbox a better place. Thanks.